Welcome to the Irene Podcast, where we explore emotional safety, communication, and healing through technology. My name is Hope, and I'm one of the co-founders of Irene GPT.ai. We built Irene GPT.ai to help people find peace, clarity, and strength in their communication. I'm sitting here today with my friend Samantha, and she's going to help me walk through why we created this app.
Okay, thanks for letting me host or co-host your very first podcast. I feel super blessed and super excited to be here. So thank you. I think you guys have created something really cool and really special.
Thank you. And thank you for agreeing to do this with me. I really appreciate it.
I'm just jumping in. I'm jumping in because I really feel connected to what you've created. It's going to help so many people. And I just want more people to know about this app. Even just this weekend, I was like, I need to be using this, even for just, tell us first, like, what is the app for?
So what the app is for is if you've been in any sort of relationship that might be abusive, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, it can help you filter through some of that noise and that nonsense and figure out like what's actually happening to you. Because some of us who've been abused don't realize we're being abused until further down the road, right? Like it might start with a few words. And we don't understand that that's abuse. We just think like, oh, we just got in a disagreement. This is how he's talking to me or whatever. But there's more to it than that. And we want people to just know like you're not alone. And there's more of us that out there than you realize that have experienced some of this abuse.
So many, what really bonded me to you guys in this app that you've created, and you're one of the co-founders, and then your other co-founder, her story is like amazing. But I was sitting there listening to you and I'm like, I could have used this. I could have used this for all the years that I was going through it.
Yeah. And that's the thing is my abuse happened 30 years ago and I didn't have to deal with like text messages or emails or anything like that.
Did you guys not have like a kid together?
We didn't have any kids.
Okay. Well, you lucked out. God said, I got you.
And I know that.
Yeah.
I felt so blessed when it was over and I could just make a clean break. And I know that's not the case for a lot of people. The clean break from that person, but not a clean break from what happened to me. So what had happened to me, the physical and emotional abuse that happened to me took me a couple of years to get through. And right after this abusive relationship, I jumped right into another one. After repeating a similar mistake again, I decided I wanted different for my future. And so I just started healing. And some of that healing is like forgiving the person who hasn't apologized and maybe not even be sorry for what they did to you. But for my personal peace, I needed to do that healing for myself. And that's our big goal, is to help women to know once you can get on your own path of healing and move past what happened to you, because that's not you, that's something that happened to you, you can find peace and have pure joy and happiness in your life again. And that's really the purpose for this app.
And sometimes you don't even realize what's happening to you. First time it really, really clicked in my head. I had been remarried. I'd had another child, but I did have a daughter, which I'm so grateful for, but with this abusive person. And I was driving. Oh my gosh, you know where we were driving to? It's that national park, Death Valley. I was like, it's really hot. It's in the desert. I was trying to think. We were driving out to Death Valley. Have you ever been there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was listening to this audiobook and it was called A Sucky Love Story. And it's a real story. It's a YouTuber who went through this crazy abusive relationship. He faked cancer, like all of these things. But we're listening to this book. And that was the first time that like, I knew the relationship was crazy and nuts, but I was like, I started to like spin the wheels in my head. This is what's happening. And after that, I just started reading like any article I could find, all those things, and like basically educating myself. And then I started tracking the patterns of communication. And I was like, oh my gosh, you could track it and like know what was coming and what was being said. Because every time I'd look at my phone and you just have these novels where you're scrolling, I got to the point where it's like, I had like PTSD to like pick up the phone.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't realize how much it affects you sometimes until you step away and then it's exposed in some other way. Maybe not by that person, but something else might be said or done to you where you're like, almost like you said, PTSD, you like step back into that mentality that you were in during the hardcore abuse.
But you're also getting abused via text message.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you have to communicate because you have a child, that's what Irene GPT.ai can help you with too, because what she'll do is you can put a message, say your ex that you still have to communicate with because you guys have children together, sends you one of those messages that might usually send you like into a spiral. It triggers that PTSD and you just go right back like you're in the thick of it again. What she does is she can take that message, analyze it, and let you know, look, this is the abusive language that's being used in this message, but here's a good, clean, quick response to the message so that you're not going back and forth for 2-3 hours and then you're like in the corner crying, curled up in the ball.
You're like, I should die. You're right. I am a horrible person. And essentially what I love too, is you guys were showing me this app it was a text. But all they were asking is like, if you could pick up the kid at like 3:45.
Yeah.
And so Irene was giving the response like, yes, I'll be there at 3:45.
Yes.
Instead of having to look at the message, it's like, oh, all you care about is yourself. You probably won't even be there to pick them up. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. You're such a bad mom. You make your kids feel this. You make your kids feel that. You do this to me. You do that to me. All the things that like normally you'd like just take them. Right? Once you start to like step away and start to do that healing, then you let their words be their words and you just don't react and you decide how to act, how to respond. Instead of reacting, you decide how to respond. And so once you can realize that those words that they're saying are just another form of manipulation or control, then you can just leave it on the table and let it be theirs. So Irene will help you just filter through that, get those good responses back, and then you can just be done with the conversation. And it doesn't matter how many times they text you. You can just decide, you know what, I'm done because I've given him the information he needs. Now he's just trying to like it's
bait
almost
me.
like, yeah, like they're trying to bait you. Like, what can I say to get her? Because usually this works, but it's not working right now.
Oh, for sure. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, look what you said and look what you did to me. And you're like, oh, you're right. I suck.
Yeah. Yeah. I know someone really close to me and her ex would say things like, you're such a terrible mom. You take your kids to daycare all day while you're at work and you don't even spend time with them. And it's like, did you want to take them all day? Because I would much rather them be with their dad than at daycare all day, but you don't even want to take them. So now what? It's just a constant like belittling and berating of somebody. But like I said, we can just all find peace and let them keep their words going while we just sit in silence and don't listen to it anymore. Because we can mute their messages and not read them.
So if you mute the messages through Irene, do they not come up on my phone? Like, how is it working?
We're working on creating an account creating a connection with Twilio. So it's like they'll give you a phone number that you can give to your ex and say, this is the only way that you can communicate with me from now going forward. So all the messages from him will go directly into Irene. And then there's a button you can hit that will hide the entire message. So you don't even have to see it. And you can have it analyzed and tell you what you need to respond to without ever seeing all those triggering words and language in that text.
When you guys were showing it to me, that's what I loved. Was like, I didn't have to read it. I got a nice little summary. And then basically everyone's been using ChatGPT. But there's something cool though I like about this. But the cool thing is it gives you a few answers. You could click them and it responds with them. But I do think we need to highlight ChatGPT. Like I can manipulate it to make sure I'm a content creator, so we're using it for content. So I'm like, hey, make sure you always say this or this. Yeah. Irene cannot be
manipulated.
It's not like learning from you.
So she's very gentle in how she speaks to us because we're trying to teach everyone how to talk to each other in a healthier way. Not just talking to you, but how you respond. Because like filtering your messages through there, you can put a message where you've responded to her or to your ex, and she'll even say, hey, this was actually this kind of language that you use towards your ex. So it can teach you how to respond better, and it can check you and be like, oh, wait, I'm falling into some of these patterns just because of this is my lived experience and this is how I've always responded because I feel triggered. So she'll actually analyze you too, but the best thing is that you don't have to feel those feelings that they've made you feel from their words. You get to decide how much you want to use Irene and how you want to use Irene.
Another thing that really drew me to this app where I was like, wow, you guys have something really amazing going, is when you were telling me that it can log the conversations and be used in court documents. Because one thing I got a lot was, I'm like, he's threatening me, he's doing this, da da da. And they're like, yeah, sure, okay. It's not that they don't believe you, but it's so hard. Emotional abuse is so hard. I told a therapist once, I wish that he would just have held the gun to my head and pulled the trigger because he's made my life a living hell. And I know that's a very deep thing to say, but I'm like, he'll never be responsible for all the things he's done to me.
He will. There will be a day, I believe. I think that those people who have abused others and not ever felt sorry or done anything to try and make amends or try to change, I think that there will be a day of reckoning for them. That makes me feel better, so I don't have to do the reckoning myself. The biggest thing that I did when I left my abuser was forgive him. He wasn't sorry. He never said he was sorry. But when I was holding on to that anger and that angst, that was hurting me, and he didn't even know about it. So me forgiving him was for me. And that's what, like, sometimes we don't realize is we think, oh, if we forgive them, then they just get a free pass. No, I forgave him so that I could move on with my life and I could be happy again.
Yeah.
But back to what you were saying, the messages. So when you analyze a message, you'll have the opportunity to log that message. We also have a journaling portion. So if the message is only part of the conversation because you had a phone conversation or some other form of conversation, then you can actually journal. You can log that. You can journal also and say, hey, this is also what happened. This is connected to that. And we've spoken to a couple of people that are in that space as far as evidence and stuff like that. And she said that one of the women said that when you make that journal entry, that's counted as evidence because you have a time and a date stamp on that when you journaled that. And so then that can go with that text message and you can have more context to that. And yeah, and you can use it for therapy. Like maybe there's some things that are happening and you want to make sure you talk to your therapist about it. You can journal what you want to talk to your therapist about. But the evidence that you need for court, it's not going to be like a typed out message of your text. It'll be a screenshot. So that, because it's in its original form and it's not manipulated, is a good form of evidence, because evidence has to be a certain way for court. You can't just say like, oh, I just typed all this up today and this is what's happened to me.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying is it's cool because you can actually log it and start to prove that, yes, these things are going on, especially if you have the text coming in and it's not just an aloof theory that you've come up with.
Yeah. And having that time and date on it too, like handwritten is the best, but you could handwrite, you could email it to yourself, because sometimes emailing it to yourself gives you just like that much more like proof. And then once you email it to yourself, you can log that in your Irene as well. So
that's really cool.
Your email to yourself about your journaling, if you just want to make sure that it's rock solid, email yourself and have it go right into Irene and she'll log it for you.
Oh, I really like that.
Yeah.
That would have saved me so much time and headache. And I think it would have had more people be like, this is really messed up. Yeah. They could see my behavior and that the things weren't okay.
Yeah.
It gets hard for friends too. And family even. They're like, okay, what do you want me to do about this? And it just keeps going on and on and on.
Yeah. And when you're in the thick of it and you just continue to spiral, it's hard for other people to like be like, oh, this is what you should do. That's what you should do. Because you're stuck. Sometimes I feel like because there's things that still happen in my life, and sometimes I'll start to spiral. And when you're spiraling, you're not clear thinking. You're not trying to figure out a solution. You're just stuck in that moment, in that trauma or whatever. So for me, going outside barefoot and standing in the grass and taking deep breaths really helps with that too.
It does. But sometimes you're in the middle of work and your phone's going off nonstop. And I would go into a lot of panic scenarios. I remember when I finally did block his number because my daughter was 17. I was like, F this. Do what you must. I'll write it out. I was in the middle of recording a podcast, like for my podcast. And I looked down and it was just, I had to keep scrolling. And it was all these things I had done to him and was doing to him. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Our daughter's 17. She can communicate. She drives to your house. Like, I'm not doing anything. And I just was like, that adrenaline, like feeling where you're like, I'm the worst. It just shoots through your body. Yeah. And I remember I was in the middle of this podcast and I was just like, block, which sent a big spiral and a lot of things from there, but it was amazing.
But it's like, I don't have time for this. And so I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And once we've learned that we can disengage and we don't have to go back and forth with that person, that's so freeing and liberating. Like there's nothing that feels better than knowing that you don't have to ever see, talk to, or listen to that person again.
Oh, it is freeing. It's still a lot though. There's still days when I look at the phone. So I recently had the same thing going on with a client. It was just over the weekend. And I told my team, especially Jess, I know you guys haven't met her, but she does a lot of your content and things like that. And I told her, I was like, I had to mute this woman's messages. I'm at the jazz game with my son with another group of clients who have taken me to the game. And she's telling me how much we suck, how much our team sucks. And I was getting to the point where like, I couldn't even look at the phone. And then I got him again the next morning, starting at 6 a.m. And I finally, that morning too, I just sat on the floor and was like, hey, we no longer work with you. I'm terminating this agreement.
Yeah.
But I just kept thinking, this is what Irene is for. So I think you can use it for other things.
You can use it for so many things. Like even if you're married to somebody, but you guys are having a hard time communicating, put your text messages in there.
Ooh.
See what she says. Analyze each other. Analyze yourself. Like it's easy to analyze someone else, right? I think that the true growth comes when you look and you go, wow, I'm part of the problem. I said it this way and it is not okay for me to talk to him that way. And here's the thing that we have to remember, regardless of how someone else is speaking to us, we do not have to return the favor.
Yeah. Yeah, because
We can
I'm not
be
perfect in
different.
my communication. I'm definitely not telling people they suck and on a Sunday and their team sucks and they're horrible. And you're like, we've done nothing but bend over backwards for you. And when you're like, receipts, evidence, 30,000 followers, like
Emails.
yes. What is it that you,
Yeah.
because you've decided this in your head.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and a lot of times when you get to that place of like more emotional maturity, you realize they've got something going on that they're taking it out on me. Not that that makes it okay, but it helps you like empathize with their situation where they are in life. And it's okay to terminate the relationship at that point. And by the way, we love you. And like, I can't imagine anyone saying that about you. However,
No, I kept having to remind myself. I'm literally I was sitting in a box suite at the jazz game that my client had brought me to as like a thank you.
Yeah.
And then I was up in Salt Lake for 2 days, like doing stuff with them. We were just on ABC4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, this is wild.
but you know what I've noticed? When we're on the right path and we're doing the right thing, that's when obstacles are going to show up and test us. That's where that true growth, I'm going to cry. That's where the true growth happens when you just go, that's fine. I see your obstacles, but I got long legs. I'll step over them. I got a big heart. I know what I'm doing is right. So somebody else's noise does not have to be your reality. It can just be their noise.
But I was thinking in those moments, because I had to do a little texting and hit mute so it would stop popping up. I was like, I really need to download Irene on my phone.
The app's coming soon. We're working on that. Right now, she's just a website, but she's going to be an app. And that's what we're hearing from a lot of people is like, where's the app? Where's the app? We're working on that.
It'll be super soon.
Yeah.
When's it coming?
We don't have a date yet because
But it's soon.
It's soon.
Yeah.
We don't have a date yet, but we will announce
It's
it
going
on,
to be like
on here. when we
Q1
do.
2026, right?
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah. I was like, I think it's January.
I mean, created the whole website in a matter of a couple of months.
Okay, I have to take a swig of my day.
Yeah. Go for it.
What's your poison, your drink?
Oh gosh.
In the form of caffeine.
I'm gonna spill my. This is like a dirty secret. People don't know this. No.
We are
Mountain
in
Dew Zero.
Oh.
Because I feel like it gives me a little more kick. I don't drink it like every day. Sometimes if I'm feeling tired. Because energy drinks sometimes are just too much.
I can't drink them. Like, you know, Alani's,
Yeah.
they're really marketed towards women, or even that it's
they're terrible, though.
Gorgie.
Oh, yeah.
They were at an event I was at, and so they were just passing them out. And so I was like, I drank one, and I'm like, what in the world? But we did find out the other day that 500 milligrams of caffeine. I told
That's
you
what you
guys.
told us. I'm like, that's crazy because, and obviously, when Alani's like, what, 200 or something? It's a lot.
How much is it? Do you know? Anyone?
I don't know.
We're going to fact check this real quick.
I think it's like 200 though. And so even I can't take it on empty. I can't drink one on an empty stomach. Like every once in a while I'll have an energy drink and then I remember why I don't like them and why I don't drink them. Cause I feel like, first of all, I feel like I'm starving.
200?
Yeah.
Okay. Fact check. 200.
200 milligrams of caffeine and one little, and those cans are small.
Yeah. I feel like they're marketed towards women because, you know, you've got the monsters and that. But Alani was really like the ladies' energy drink.
Yeah, but really not. I can't.
Yeah. I'll have like 2 cans a day of Coke. That's my limit. I have a coffee in the morning. Sometimes I will get a second latte if I'm out and about. And I'm like, ooh, a latte? I don't know how much caffeine is in this.
I think that's like, it should. I think it's like 60 or 80 or 60, 50, 60. I think
it would have to tell me, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Does that say on the little side piece?
Oh.
Okay. Now fact check how much caffeine is in a Diet Coke.
Oh, I got it, you guys. Oh, it's only 46 milligrams.
Oh.
I could be taking like...
You could have 4 of those and that's one Alani.
This is my best friend aspartame. What are you talking about?
Aspartame's the greatest thing for you to consume that much.
Well, aspartame's actually really not that bad for you. It's the amount that you would consume that would be bad for you. But just like the amount of water. You can drink too much water and die.
Yeah. If you don't take any salt or minerals with it.
No, you can drink too much water and then your cells do that thing.
That's true.
Yeah. So too much water is also toxic. The amount of aspartame to be toxic though is wild. Just like too many bananas would be.
Yeah. But it's like moderation in all things, right?
Yeah.
Like anything that
kill yourself with too much potassium.
Yeah. Or I've heard death by 1,000 cuts. Like one little cut's not going to hurt you, but if you cut yourself 1,000 times.
Ow.
Or get cut 1,000 times.
That's like an abusive ex texting you and you don't have Irene. It's death by 1,000 cuts.
There you go. Or like the thought, like when you were saying the thought that you had about like, if you would have just put a gun to my head, like those of us who've been in an abusive relationship, especially emotional abuse, because I feel like physical abuse is so cut and dry. Emotional or manipulative abuse or like a narcissistic abuse or something like any sort of like emotional or mental abuse is like, they don't come right in full force. They start just a little at a time, just one little dig here and one little dig there. And they slowly chip away. For me, I was so young. I got married when I was 19 and it was like,
me too.
Oh,
Yeah. High five.
high five for learning quick when we were young. No, but like for me, it was just like, I didn't realize that people were like that. I was so young. I didn't realize that somebody would come into this relationship and then just start abusing you. And there was drugs involved and stuff. So that obviously made things worse. But when I got out and then started to start healing, like I really relied on God a lot for my healing because it was bigger than anything that I knew about. And so I had to turn somewhere where I knew that source knew how to help me heal. And so for me, it was just leaning on the Lord, a lot of praying, a lot of thinking about who I was before, thinking about how I used to always picture myself and how much it had drastically changed. Thinking about how my father spoke to me so differently than this man did. So just all the little things that kind of helped me to see that this wasn't a me problem, this was a situation problem, and I'm out of that situation. So in order to heal, I need to forgive him, and then I need to forgive myself, because a lot of times we blame ourselves for like, oh, I did this to myself because I put myself in this situation and it, like I shouldn't have. But that's not it. As the victim, you don't want to blame yourself because there's no healing when you just continue to bash and blame yourself. You're just actually piling on for what's already happened to you.
Yeah, I had quite a bit of physical abuse also going on until I was separated. And then it was just the emotional abuse because I got married, got pregnant right away, had a baby, immediately separated. It was bad. But I remember the very first Christmas we spent together, and I don't even think we were married yet. But my family, they would do a really fun like Christmas night. And it really was just a drunken shit show party. What I'm saying is it wasn't horrible to be at. My grandparents are pretty wealthy and you would get these elaborate presents and like, it was a lot of fun. Now I feel like it's tapered off, but he was like, no, we're going to spend Christmas with my family. So I was like, okay, that's fine for the first year. But then we were home by like 1 p.m. and he just wanted to lay in bed and like just watch movies. That was always a big thing of controls, doing nothing. And I was like, let's go up to my family's. It's not far. It's like a 30-minute drive.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. And finally I was like, yes, we're doing this. But it was a huge blowout fight on Christmas Day. And finally he's like, he used to always make me drive. I think that should be a red flag too. Always would make me drive everywhere so that he could tell me what a shitty person I was. And he was like, that's fine, but you're driving. Because he was always like, you have to drive. But it was so he could tell me what a horrible POS I was. If I wasn't driving appropriately, I'm mean to everyone, blah, blah, blah. So I'm driving and we're driving just from Salt Lake up Parley's Canyon. And I can vividly remember him just screaming at me. But I'm like, if you're going to scream at me, why would you even get in the car with someone?
Yeah.
But then we get there and he's like, oh, like happy to be here, blah, blah, blah. But it was so mean to me. So it's like a big vivid memory that I have.
Locked in. There's little things that are locked in for me too. Like one time we were arguing and he was taking off his boots from work and he chucked his boot at me and I had to dodge it and it went into the wall. Like it made a hole in the wall. And that was just like, he's like, you made me do that. Oh, I made you do that. Did I? Like now I can laugh about it. At the time, like, how did I make you take off your boot and throw it at me? Like just because we were having a disagreement, it's all my fault.
It's making me angry. When people say like, the way she was dressed made me rape her.
Yes.
That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. No, that's the thing is it's like you're blaming the victim. Like, cause you literally threw your boot at me. I had no control over your arm. Sir.
No, you made him do it. Absolutely.
Yeah. I must have magical powers. I was unaware that I had these powers. But however, when you're in that situation and it happens, like you're almost shocked. Like, did that really just happen? Did I really just have a boot thrown at my head? Did I really just have to dodge the boot? Because it would have knocked me out if it would have hit me because he threw it hard enough to go through the drywall and stick in the wall.
Yeah.
It's crazy to talk about it because I haven't talked about all this for a long time because it's been 30 years since I've been divorced from him. So it's just like, yeah, it happened. And it's not even, it doesn't affect me anymore, I guess, is what I'm saying. Is like, you can get to a point where it's just something that happened in your past, but it doesn't trigger you and send you right back in there every single time you talk about it. Like that's what I love about Irene too, is I think that she's really going to help us to help women to heal and know, like, get away from the language, get away from the abuse, let's find a place of healing for you. And then you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, because the biggest, I don't know a better way to say it other than like, screw you, is being the best version of yourself and growing after you've been with an abusive person and showing up every day in your life a better version of yourself. And they're going to be watching because they're always watching from the sidelines because they want to know, they want to know that they still have control and power over you, right? So they're always watching from the sidelines. But the biggest way that you can just say, you don't matter anymore in my life and I'm going to be the best version of myself is to just go on that path. Leave all his crap with him or her, because there's men that are abused too, but leave all that crap with them and then just move on and just focus on growing and becoming the best version of yourself every single day.
Oh, I love that. I love that a lot. It's hard when you have kids though, and they're constantly, You're like trying to be your best self, but even that makes you a bad person. And then when you cut off the contact, everything to do with them, what I was finding was then all of a sudden, because they are always watching from their fake burner accounts on social media.
Of course.
Yeah. As there was weird stories being made up. My favorite, do you want to hear? Okay, so this is one of my favorite stories. So I used to go to Orange Theory with my friend Heidi, and Heidi happens to do nails. Not my nail girl. That's a very important fact in this story, okay? Not my nail girl. You know, my ex, or I just always say my daughter's dad, he is getting remarried. And he's living here in town for the first time ever because he came to help me with my 16-year-old.
Yeah.
As it goes. Well, and he was getting married again, so he's putting on a show. But he tells my daughter, he says, I don't want to say his wife's name, just, I don't know, feels polite. She seems like a lovely
We'll call
woman.
her Joan.
Joan, I like Joan. I have an Aunt Joan who's really fun. She never had kids. She's one of those aunts. It's my grandma's sister. And you pick her up from the airport and the first stop has to be the liquor store.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I like Joan. Yeah. But so Joan wants to get her nails done. And this is the story that my daughter's dad is telling to my daughter, and goes, she can't get her nails done anywhere in town because your mom is telling people that not to let her get her nails done. And my daughter's like, what are you talking about? If you called my mom, she would actually help. My mom loves having her nails done. Yeah. And he's like, no, we called Heidi, and Heidi said that your mom said that she couldn't see her. My daughter's like, Heidi's not her nail girl. So he's like
stuff up.
Where would you get that? Yeah. And that's when it was starting to turn to my daughter's head that he was making a lot of things up. And she goes to the gym with Heidi. What are you talking about? So he's like making up all these stories.
Yeah, because he's trying to prove to your daughter that he knows you better than she does.
Yeah, it went south.
Yeah,
yeah.
Real quick. And that's the thing is, like, when you keep, like, with kids, like, fortunately for me, again, I didn't have to deal with all of that, but I've seen it when you have children and they say and do things to try and pit your kids against you.
Yeah.
My advice, keep showing up as your authentic self. Keep loving your children. Keep telling them that you love them. Keep showing them that you love them, and they'll figure it out. They always do. They always figure out the truth when that's going on.
They do. And that's been really hard because you end up picking up the pieces, which I've been doing that for years. You know, picking it up or even skirting the truth, dodging lies, paying for therapy, and all these things. And then it's like, I felt like we had the big explosion moment. And it's like, now we're back paying for therapy, back picking up all the pieces.
Yeah.
It always comes back.
Yeah. But all those things that you just mentioned, like, it feels like, oh my gosh, I have to do this again and again. But think about the growth that your daughter is going through at such a young age to where she won't ever have to experience what you had to experience with your ex.
It's crazy. She's probably a little too much that way.
Yeah, because kids aren't supposed to have to deal with all of that.
Yeah.
So that makes sense that it's a lot, but she'll get to a place where she'll feel like she'll level out and then she'll feel that peace again. And then she'll go, oh, I can just live my life.
All right. So I've been telling tons of my friends about Irene. Like, how do people acquire Irene?
So right now, the website is Irenegpt.ai. And we have 2 months for free using the code Irene Cares, because the holiday times is always hard for everyone, but it's especially hard when you're going through stuff, and we just want to ease that burden. So you get 2 months for free if you sign up right now using the promo code Irene Cares.
Okay. I love that.
Thank you, Sam, for doing this podcast with me, our first podcast. It just feels so special to have you here with me and for you to tell your story. And I really appreciate you opening up to us and sharing your experience with others so that they can see that healing, growth, and happiness is possible again. If you'd like to access Irenegpt.ai, just remember promo code Irene Cares, all one word, when you check out, and that'll give you 2 months for free. And you can start using Irene to help have more peaceful and productive communication.